Welcome to this sample audio clip, which comes from the conversation series featuring Multihull pioneer Jim Brown. In this segment, Jim shares his thoughts on notable differences between Catamarans and Trimarans. To find out more about this historic, multi-hull-oriented audio series, please visit us on the web at www.outrigmedia.com.
Hey, this is Joe Farinaccio from smalltrimarans.com and outrigmedia.com, and I have Jim Brown on the phone with me today. How you doing, Jim?
Hello there, Joe.
Jim, you have a document posted on your website called Cats versus Tries, and I think this is a popular subject that a lot of people who are attracted to multi-hulls would like to hear others, such as yourself, discuss. Of course, we do plan to have catamaran designers on this site, but I just thought it would be great to hear your take on cats versus tries, and then listeners will be able to contrast what the different opinions are about different boats. And we're all multi-hullers, so this is not a war that we're trying to start here. This is about sharing useful information, and I just wanted to ask your first thoughts on these basic differences here between cats and tries.
Well, that's interesting, Joe. I'm not really biased for trimarans. I prefer them for cruising. But I've designed both types. It took me a long time to get into catamarans because I was initially coming out of monohulls.
Uh-huh.
And I think that trimarans tend to appeal more to people who are coming out of monohulls because they have a different feeling to them. You're standing down deep in the middle with your feet below the water line,
Right.
as in a monohull. And they just sort of seem a little bit more natural. They did to me anyway. But then along about the late 70s, I had an opportunity to really do some catamaran sailing for the first time in big cats.
Uh-huh.
And I was really impressed. And so since then, I've designed some catamarans, and together with John Marples, we've done a number of them, particularly the commercial cats for
Right.
the so-called catamaran service, their day charter service.
Right.
And if we have a look at the history of multi-hulls, the ancient history tends to agree with the modern history to the extent that in ancient history it seems that the catamaran actually came last. It was the vehicle of exploration. Of colonization.
Okay.
It was the freighter that allowed the Polynesians to carry whole extended families, including all of their flora and fauna, across great distances in order to establish colonies across a wider surface of the earth than any other race that distributed themselves at the time.
Okay, so we're looking at, if I'm understanding the history correctly, proas came first, and then probably trimarans, and then catamarans. Is that the way it worked?
Well, we don't have a lot of anthropological evidence to support either one, I'm afraid. And there's some disagreement between anthropologists today. Some recent information suggests that multi-hulls don't go back nearly as far as we originally thought. But on the other hand, there's plenty of evidence to suggest that they go back to well before the time of Christ, and maybe much longer. We just don't know, because the boats, of course, were made out of 100% vegetable fiber,
Right.
so nothing is left. And a lot of the ancient people didn't write anything down, particularly the Polynesians. They committed everything to memory, and they passed it from generation to generation that way. So we have some evidence that is mythical evidence to suggest that multi-hulls may go back a very long way. For instance, we really don't know how the people of island Asia managed to get across the Torres Straits to Australia. For instance, recent finds in Australia suggest that may go back as much as 50 or even 60,000 years. But those voyages across there of migration may have been conducted in rafts. We just don't know. And the evidence that is pretty solid goes back to about 3,500 years to a time when the people of island Asia, that is, of Southeast Asia, particularly now the area we call Vietnam, when they made it out to the Philippines, that apparently occurred in Trimarans.
Okay.
And conceptually, it seems easier to attach a couple of floats onto a dugout canoe than it does to bridge two dugout canoes together.
Okay.
And so in my own thinking, my own reconstruction of history, I consider the Trimaran to be the original multi-hull.
Wow, okay. All right.
However, for that trip to get across there to the Philippines...
Thanks for listening. For more like this, or to obtain this complete audio conversation, come visit us at www.outrigmedia.com.